Welcome back to another episode of Holmes Hobbies Motor Control. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman. Hanging out in the studio, man. I got the workbench closet behind me. About to jump over there. I've got a little bit of a secret build. I wouldn't call it secret, but I've got a build over there that I've been working on that mainly my Patreon follower, like my patrons, know about, because that's where I put the videos up about it. But I did post about it, I think, at least once on Instagram, Facebook. So, I mean, it's kind of, people kind of know. But anyways, let's go take a look at one of my new builds, and let's talk about what we're gonna do. Here she is, you guys. This is my latest, I don't know, I'd say build, but it's not actually a build yet. It's getting there though. Short wheelbase build. As you can see, it looks a little funky right now, and that's because, shocks and chassis links and all those things. But move the winch there, put this on, and all of a sudden it starts to make sense real quick. Short wheelbase Jeep build. Gonna be pretty cool. Nice little TJ Wrangler. As you can see, wheelbase is pretty dang good. It's not perfect. There we go. Get that body in the right position. It's not perfect, but it's definitely pretty slick, man. I like it myself. I think it's pretty cool. So, yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. You digging on this or what? To be honest with you, I measured this, and this is literally like a 10-inch wheelbase, like within like a hair. So super short wheelbase. I think that's pretty cool. It actually does pretty good. It's got a cool, realistic amount of flex to it, and it just looks cool. I don't know. I like it a lot. I'm into these. I'm into these little, small tire, short wheelbase builds like this. I think they're kind of cool. This is going to be my lightweight build. I'm referring to it, so far I'm referring to it as short stack. And, yeah, I don't know. I just think that's a fitting name. It's got some 1.55s, small little New Bright TJ body. If you want to know about how I took the stickers and stuff off of it, that's on Patreon as well. The inside's all gutted out right now, or not gutted out, but chopped up for clearance. And I will be going back through with plastic and fixing all of that. And then once it's done, it's going to be getting a paint job. Also considering doing an actual metal cage, but then again, I'm also considering not doing a metal cage and just painting this one or dyeing it, one of the two, along with the seats. Because I want to keep it really, really lightweight. Something completely opposite of what I normally do. It'll still have, plenty of weight, and I'm sure some people will still consider it fairly heavy, but I personally will be thinking of this as my lightweight, short wheelbase build, short stack. So, anyways, for this, what we're going to do is we're going to install some electronics. And of course, right off the bat for this bad boy, I picked a Trailmaster BLE Pro ESC. My all-time favorite ESC, and to mate it with this, because of the short wheelbase and the whole small Jeep theme, small everything theme, I went for the Holmes Hobbies Puller Pro 540S Stubby, and this is the 3300 kV option. So you guys are probably, some of you are familiar with this already. I've already done videos on the Stubby in the past and on the BLE Pro in the past, but I picked this combination because with everything being so small, I wanted to really, really maximize the amount of space that I have. So right now, as you can see, it's already got an ESP anti-spur kit. It has one of my prototypes, actually, that doesn't even have the ESP logo on it, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's got the axial transmission modded, drive shaft all attached, gear reduction unit installed, and factory 35 turn motor installed. It was running the factory axial ESC as well, but I actually sold that one to a subscriber. So that is gone now as well. So what I'm going to be doing is pulling this motor out, and going to be installing this motor, and going to be installing this ESC. And that's going to be the start to the electronics upgrade on this. We would also be doing a servo right now, but I am currently out of the SHV 500 servos and just all of my Holmes Hobbies servos in general. So until I get fresh ones of those, we're just going to be running whatever we got for now and see how it goes. But she's going to have an awesome ESC and motor, so very excited about that. Let's go ahead and get started. So now we're just going to dive right into this. Go ahead and cut it open. Be sure not to cut the wires or anything. I actually have done that in the past, just getting too excited. So here she is. Pull out this BLE Pro. This is the all black one. I don't know what it is about this. I really like it, but I kind of wish we had the option to get this in that cool gray look that the BRXL comes into. I don't know why. I just like that. But this is easily my favorite ESC on the market. And then we'll go ahead. We'll set that aside for now. As far as what it comes with, get your sticker, of course, mandatory. And then, you know, all your information here. Definitely take the time to read this if you're not familiar with it. It's just super simple instructions, you know, and it could help save you a little bit of a headache down the road. It just definitely helps out. So take time, read that over. Then now let's go ahead and open up this motor. Now this is the Puller Pro 540S, the S obviously standing for Stubby. For those of you wanting some information on this, is a 4-pole, 12-slot setup. Basically everything you need to know is right there. It spins 50,000 RPMs, and it's just a beast, man. It really is. So let's go ahead. A lot of people think that when they hear Stubby or they see the size of this motor, they instantly think, oh, well, this must be the lesser option. And that is not exactly the case. This thing puts in work. Tiny little motor. I mean, just a tiny little motor. I mean, here's compared to our 540 that comes in there, right? It's smaller than the little 540 brushed 35 turn motor that comes in it. And this is a powerful, powerful, powerful brushless motor. So very, very excited to be installing this along with this. So let's go ahead and get the old motor out of there and just kind of get it separated from the gear reduction unit real quick. One of the first things we're going to do is just back off the little drive shaft that connects there. Then we're going to go ahead and loosen up the screws to this motor. Now these aren't a perfect fit because, like I said, this is one of the prototypes. It actually got some adjustments and more holes added after this, but still, you guys get the idea there. Just a simple forward motor mount setup meant specifically for the SCX10. There we go. Pull the motor out here. And as you guys can see, nice compact setup, nice and solid. In order to get that off there, what you have to do is you actually have to take these 4 screws out here. So alright, so once you have that done, you can actually take this whole thing apart. What I like to do is flip it this way, that way everything falls back into it, keep the screws in it so everything stays in place, and slide that right off. Boom, there you have it. All your gears stay in place, everything stays right where they're supposed to be. And just put her down real quick before you lose everything. There. So now we can access these screws here, the actual motor mount screws, and we'll just go ahead and pop those off. Set that down, and there we go. Now what we're going to want to do is pull this pinion gear off of here, crack it loose just like that, and there we go. Mission accomplished. We've got everything separated. Make sure you don't lose anything. Put it all aside there. And now what we got to do is install the Stubby. When it comes to installing this, you literally just do the exact opposite of what you just did, just the reverse of what you just did to take the other motor off. So go ahead, put your pinion on there. You want to be careful with this pinion. Oh, a little bit of grease there. Make sure that you put it towards the top here. You don't want a whole bunch sticking out of the top. So as you can see there, you want to get this as flush as you can. I have a little sticking out still, so we'll adjust that. Alright. I think that's about right. Now, you don't want to just go for it. You want to actually test this first. So, the first thing we're going to do is put this motor mount setup back on here. We're going to find our screws. Now we've got those mounted. We can go ahead and take the rest of it here and sandwich this back together, but you're going to want to make sure that you get these lined up correctly. So as you can see, it's not square, it's more of a rectangular bolt pattern here, so you want to make sure you get that correct. In this case, it's going to be, I think, right there. Now you can spin this until we get it to go back together. There we go. And there she is, all back together. It's a little tricky at first. You got to be really careful not to let it separate because it does kind of want to separate. But once you get it basically in there, the rest should just fall into place. So, and as you can see, everything went together flush. There's no separation. It's no unevenness in the cracks. It's all together how it's supposed to be. Alright you guys, so now we have our motor and gear reduction unit all assembled, ready to go back into the SCX 10.2. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and put this back in here, and you'll notice there's a gap actually between the mount and the actual gear reduction unit. That's because, like I said, there's a prototype mount. These mounts don't have the flush, you know, the hole here to make it nice and flush. So the new ones do have that. So in the future, when you look at these, or on some of the other ones, when you look at these, you'll notice that these do sit flush to the mount. Alright, so now I can go ahead and run these screws back in there. And let's see if I can get it lined up the first try here. I'm not the best at this, but... And there we go. Alright, so now we've got the gear reduction unit and the motor mounted back into the truck. We can go ahead and get this drive shaft back in there as well. And this short drive shaft is just meant to connect in the lightest way. You don't have to have a huge one on here. It doesn't have to be on perfect. You just barely need to get it on there. Alright, and there we have it. Nice solid connection. And we're back together. So now we need to figure out where we're going to mount this ESC at. So where I typically mount them is right here. I like to mount them right underneath of this. See if this one will pop in there or not. It's usually a really tight fit, so not sure if this is gonna go or not. Alright, so with just the slightest bit of grinding on the back side of this housing here, I was able to get this literally just wedge right in there. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but it fits right between the transmission and the little mounts here on the side for the rock sliders. So that's about as tight of a fit as you're going to be able to get there, and with no glue or tape or anything like that, it's in there nice and solid. You can pick the whole truck up from it. It's not going anywhere. So pretty stoked on that. Now what I need to do is get these wires ran. So this is going to go right here into this. I don't really need to do nothing fancy with that. I just need to get it ran in there, and then these bad boys are going to run over here to the motor. Now, I kind of wish these were shorter, so I'll have to figure something out here, but I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I can... On the other ones, I run them off the side over here. This one, I was kind of wanting to run it off the side this way, but I don't want to have a bunch of excess, so I think I am going to bring them off the side over here, and then I'm going to loop these around like this. And there we go. Make sure you get your colors matched up. See, I don't like that either. So, I'm not sure where I'm going to run these yet. We're going to have to play around with this, and I'll figure something out. I can't have messy wires. I got to have clean wiring. So, and I definitely don't want them flopping all over the place. Just not my style. So, clean this up. Maybe run them underneath here. I don't know, we'll just have to play around and see what we come up with. So far, I'm not really liking any of those. Now, we'll also have to run this bad boy in here, which I think still has the centerpiece in it. No, I took it out already. So, we're good to do that. We can go ahead and we'll run these underneath. Bring it right over here and just slide it into place. You don't want to go too tight, but you definitely don't want a bunch of slack hanging out either. So you can get it fairly tight. Then go ahead and just plug it right back into the channel it's supposed to go to, so that way you don't mess it up later on. This is channel 2. So put it into channel 2. And there we go. Now we don't have to worry about that. Tuck the excess down in there, and we're good. Now we just need to zip tie up the excess on this, figure out where I'm going to zip tie it to, and solder on a Dean's plug, and we're good. Alright you guys, as you can see, we've got everything back in business here. We've got the ESC installed, we've got the motor installed, everything is connected. The only thing that I still need to do before I could actually power this up is to solder on the Dean's plug. And I'm not going to do that just yet because I'm not sure where I'm going to have my battery. So until I figure that out, I think this is as far as I can get. So there we have it, you guys. You can see how clean that is. I really just need to put this back on here to give it that full effect. And there we have it. You can see it's super nice, clean install. I could still loom this up if I wanted to, but I don't think we're gonna need to on this super minor minimalistic type build, and I think it looks good. So I will wind up figuring out my battery, getting the Deans installed, and we will revisit this build at another time. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, hanging out with me today. I always appreciate it, you guys. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace of chicken grease, fam. Yeah.